Welcome to Life Isn't Lived on a Spreadsheet with Ryan Potterack from Potterack Capital Advisory. You have unique values, objectives, fears, life experiences, and biases. Any financial professional who ignores or minimizes the importance of your story may not be able to help you achieve your ideal outcomes or hit your goals. It's time to experience the PCA difference. In this podcast, we help business executives, soon-to-be retirees, and solutions-based individuals overcome the anxiety leading up to their upcoming years. We do this by initiating in-depth discussions about the financial aspects of retirement, like tax planning and asset allocation, alongside, and often overlooked, personal and lifestyle aspects. Join us for this journey where we explore retirement from a contrarian point of view, as Ryan draws from years of experience and qualified guest professionals to help you explore the true purpose of your money in retirement and the impact you want to make in your golden years. Ryan Potterack and Alec Quaid offer investment advice through Private Advisor Group, which is a federally registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Private Advisor Group and Potterack Capital Advisory are separate entities. This information is not intended to be a substitute for individualized legal or tax advice. Please consult your legal or tax advisor regarding your specific situation.
Social Security can be impacted by your average income, the age you begin taking it, your marital status, and so much more. Alec Quaid is here to help us with some questions. And Alec, why is Social Security so difficult to understand?
Well, probably, Patrice, because the government is the administrator of it. But say that a little tongue-in-cheek, but a lot of things that the government of the United States of America just seem to not make sense. Just look at the complication of the tax code, for example.
Let's not go there.
That's another podcast. Yeah. So Social Security, it has to have lots of nuances just to be applicable to the millions of Americans that it covers. But certainly there's some things that just, don't really make a lot of sense or are confusing. The rules change. There's so many exceptions and one-offs. Really, mostly that applies to when you're dealing with a death of a spouse or a divorce or things of that nature. If you're just claiming Social Security based on your earnings record, it's a little bit more straightforward. Mm-hmm. But I don't know who makes the rules exactly, but they are what they are, and we have to follow them.
Well, let's go to the basics. How does Social Security work?
Yeah, so you earn credits throughout your working years. You earn up to 4 credits per year that you can earn towards your Social Security, and you can earn 1 credit per roughly $1,700 of earned income in 2024. And so in order to be what they considered fully insured or fully eligible for your Social Security benefits, you have to have accumulated 40 credits over the course of your working years. And so once you are fully insured for Social Security, what they do is they do a calculation to determine what's called your PIA, your primary insurance amount. And your PIA is based on your highest 35 years of earnings. And from there, that determines your monthly Social Security benefit, depending on the age that you start it. But your 35 highest earning years, if you have a year where you earned 0 or a lower amount, and later on in life you earn you have a year where you earn higher, it will replace that year. And your PIA will be recalculated and your benefit will increase. So Social Security, that's how you become eligible for the benefits. As far as claiming the benefits, that can depend on, or rather that will depend on when you decide to turn those benefits on. And that's what we'll start to talk about here shortly. But you are eligible for benefits as early as age 62 for retirement benefits. And you would claim as late as age 70 because you would get no increases in your benefits if you wait past 70. So there would be no point to wait past 70. But your benefit, you are promised 100% of your benefit at what's called your full retirement age. And your full retirement age can vary depending on who you are. It would be age 66 if you're born between 1943 and 1954. And then it gradually increases all the way up to age 67 for people who are born 1960 and later. And that is when your full retirement is the age that they will pay you 100% of your promised benefits. Every year that you claim benefits prior to your full retirement age, your benefit is reduced by 6% each year permanently for the rest of your life. And vice versa, each year that you wait past your full retirement age, all the way up to age 70, your benefit increases 8%. Those are 6 and 8% ballpark numbers, really, really close, for the rest of your life.
That's a nice little increase, though, if you can wait.
Well, it definitely is, yeah. And of course, it depends on your situation. If you can make it till full retirement age, a lot of times that is, what our software and our math would say is the optimal claiming strategy. And all optimal means is how are you going to extract the most amount of money out of the Social Security system that you've paid into for 30 or 40 years, right? That's all that optimal means, is getting back out as much as you can for what you put in. The reason that's most commonly the optimal strategy is because people are living longer, just on a mass scale. And the ballpark break-even points, if you claim at full retirement age around that 66, 67, if you live past roughly 80, 81, you're in the money. You're in the black, whatever you want to call it. You have broken even. If you claim early, like age 62, right, when you can claim, which, by the way, over half of all people in the country claim at age 62, which I'm doubting not every one of those people has a legitimate reason for claiming early. I think a lot of people are probably just misinformed on how claiming strategies work, which is a big piece of education for us and our clients, certainly. But if you claim early, your break-even point is right around 75, 76, somewhere in that range. So certainly if you have, potential health issues or health concerns or things like that, claiming early can absolutely make sense. If you don't have that, sometimes the conversation becomes, well, why don't we, let's say you still wanted to retire at 60, 62, or sometime before your full retirement age, why don't we create your income from other assets besides Social Security and allow our Social Security benefit to beef up before taking it?
I keep hearing all these people talking about, oh, Social Security is going to go bankrupt. It's not going to be around. First of all, how is it funded? And I mean, will it be around?
So Social Security is funded by every American through what's called FICA tax. And FICA tax is made up of both your Social Security and Medicare taxes. And so Social Security taxes are about half of that, 6.2%. And if you're employed, you pay, like if you're a W-2 employee, you pay half of your FICA tax and your employer pays the other half. If you're self-employed, you pay the whole 15.3%. That's what's commonly referred to as your self-employment taxes or self-employment tax. So you pay this, 6.2% of the FICA tax that goes towards Social Security for everybody. Now that's only up to, for 2024, 168,000 and some change of income that Social Security portion of the FICA tax is applied to. As an aside, the Medicare portion of that FICA tax does not have what is referred to as a wage base. Basically, the Social Security wage base is the $168,000. That doesn't. Medicare taxes on income up to $1 billion or infinity, right? So Social Security, I mean, it's a common thing. I think just 2 days ago I was asked, is Social Security going to be there? I mean, it's a common concern. This has happened before. I believe it was in the mid to late 70s, if I remember my history right, when the Social Security Trust Fund was about to run out of money. What they did then was a solution they might do or likely would do again, which is raise the full retirement age. And so the original full retirement age was age 65. And now, like I mentioned, for most people is age 67. Well, just raising the full retirement age again, which is the age at which you are promised 100% of your benefits, increases the length of time that the Social Security Trust Fund can stay in place by decades. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
Right.
And that's what they did in the 70s. Now, best estimates, at least as of last year, best estimates are that the Social Security Trust Fund will be depleted by 2034. Unfortunately, we have lots of people in Washington who really just don't maybe care about solving some of these issues until they actually are super, super pressed to do so. I mean, just look at feels like every other month we have to push up our debt ceiling to keep the government running, right? And they wait till like the last day to do anything about it. Well, politicians aren't going to want to touch Social Security until the very last thing, because dare they change anything, it is impacting tens of millions of Americans, which are voters, right?
Not only that, it is the third rail of politics. I mean, they that rail and they are poof, they're out of there.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So got, I guess, some time if that projection is correct, the 2034. But the couple things that they might do, or probably would do, one or all of the above, would be number one, delaying the full retirement age, as I just mentioned. Number two, there's been discussions on reduction in benefits for people who earn over a certain amount of income, high income people. Number three would be a reduction in benefits for people who claim early and have what we would call non-earned income. So I'll talk about this in a second. There's a reduction in benefits if you claim before your full retirement age and you're still working, so you receive employment income. And so what I'm saying is that reduction in benefits would also apply to people with non-earned income, like interest, dividends, passive income from real estate, stuff like that. And then the last thing that they could potentially pull is increasing the Social Security wage base. So if Social Security taxes are subject to a higher amount of income, that obviously brings in more money to the Social Security Trust Fund and extends its life, basically. So we at PCA, we don't think it is going to go away. At least, I guess I'll say in my lifetime, I don't think it's going to go away. It would impact too many Americans for it to just go away. Now, will they have to make some changes? Probably. In a worst case scenario, could benefits be, less than projected? Yes. And some clients are more comfortable projecting. Social Security says you're going to receive X at age 65 or 67. We want to assume we only receive 75% of that, for example. And that's fine. We can incorporate it into our retirement income planning, no problem. Just sometimes it makes clients feel better knowing we did that.
And then with that in mind, I mean, what role does or should Social Security play in a retirement plan?
Well, it plays a big role. I mean, the average benefit in 2024 for a single person Social Security benefit is $1,900, and for a couple, $3,000 a month. So, for a couple, $3,000 a month, you might think that's not a lot, but that's not something to put your nose in. No, it's not chump change. No, yeah, that's what the phrase I was looking for. Thank you, Patrice. I'll just use a generality. We've got a lot of clients who want to retire on somewhere around 10,000 plus or minus net after tax per month. That's kind of on a very high level of a common lifestyle number we see. Well, if your household Social Security income is 3,000 or 30% of that, and that's guaranteed income for the rest of your life, there's no longevity risk there. You can't outlive that money. That plays an important role for sure. Because if we didn't have that, we would have to have had more assets saved or other guaranteed income sources or a pension, which most people don't have anymore. It plays an important role for sure. And deciding when to claim is something that we talk about with our clients, depending on the situation, how to optimize that.
All right. Another thing is most people think Social Security, that's money that's coming to me. It's my income and it is not taxed. Well, surprise, it is. And how is it taxed?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You get taxed on it throughout your working career to pay for everybody's benefit, and then you get the benefit and potentially you pay tax on part of it. So, I'll leave it at that. The numbers for this year, potentially up to 85% of your benefit is taxable, is the short answer.
That's a chunk.
Yeah. And so if you earn, I'll use as a married couple, for example, up to $34,000 for a couple, it'd actually be between $44,000. You might have to pay taxes on up to half of your benefits. And then if you're over $44,000, you might have to pay taxes on up to 85% of your benefits. So it depends on, and that looks at your income from all sources. So that could be IRA distributions, or if you're working part-time or whatever. And it adds all that up. And if you're over these limits, up to 85% of your benefit might be taxable.
You mentioned married couples. How does a marital status impact Social Security?
Well, spouses are eligible for, take the lower earning spouse, they're eligible for up to half of the higher earning spouse's Social Security benefit when that higher earning spouse turns on their benefit. So that spouse, like for example, if they were eligible for their own Social Security benefit based on their own working record, they would get paid the higher of their benefit or half of their spouse's benefit. So, for example, you have a spouse who maybe worked for 10 or 15 years and then stayed at home with the kids for the next 15, 20 years. Well, they might be eligible for their own benefit, but their spouse might have, just make up a number, $3,000 benefit. And, so the spouse who stayed home is eligible for $1,500, half of that. And that might be higher than the $1,200 benefit that they qualified for on their own earning record. You don't have to tell Social Security that. They're just going to pay you the higher of the two. Other things that impact when you're married is survivor benefits. So survivor benefits, depending on the situation and how old you are, you could be eligible for up to 100% of your deceased spouse's benefit. You could also, if you're taking care of minor children, your minor children will get paid up until usually 16 or 18 years old, a survivor Social Security benefit. And that's really when you're eligible for more than one Social Security benefit, like your own benefit based on your earnings record, a survivor's benefit, or a spouse's benefit, also called a dependent benefit. That's where coordination of the benefits can come into play. For example, maybe you take the survivor benefit first and delay the retirement benefit until a later age, or vice versa. And that's where really Social Security claiming strategy becomes a lot more complex and a lot more nuanced, and more discussions are needed.
Alec, who understands all this stuff, really?
Well, we do our best. And if someone doesn't know the optimal claiming strategy for themselves, we are very used to figuring that out for people, and can absolutely at least help someone understand the math behind what would be the most optimal. And then, of course, comes in the conversation of, well, how do you feel about it? Let's talk about the qualitative facts, like, maybe your health or marital status, whatever, maybe you're divorced. So that's a whole other set of rules for divorcees. I mean, if you were married for more than 10 years to someone and you're over age 62, you qualify for your ex-spouse's benefit. So yeah, that's where you need a wealth manager to help you through all this stuff, for sure.
I would agree, definitely. You've wrapped up the Social Security discussion with so much information, so much. Is there something that I haven't asked that you think we really should cover before we end this conversation?
I'd say everyone should be aware that you can go on to ssa.gov and find your Social Security benefits statement at any time. And you create an account, and right there somewhere in the middle of the screen, it's view my Social Security benefits statement, or it says something like that. And it'll show you on page 1 the projected amounts based on your earnings record, how much you'd be paid monthly at age 62, 65, 67, 70. And you can scroll down to page 2 or 3, depending on the statement type, and it'll show you your earnings record, the amounts you've earned in each year. And so obviously if you have a year in the future where you earn more than a amount that you see on that statement, it'll replace that lowest year. And so your projection you'd need to redo your projection, right? And you'd have a higher payout. So it's a good thing to know for prospective clients, or for our clients. We routinely have them pull those for us and send them to us, because we use those numbers to model inside our retirement income planning software. I mean, they're the most accurate projections that you can get. They're coming straight from the horse's mouth, if you will. So if you haven't done that, I'd encourage you to do that, and you can get an idea of what you might be able to expect.
All right, fantastic. And how can listeners reach you, Alec, if they've got questions? And boy, oh boy, Social Security always.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you can go to our website, www.poterack.net. That's POTERACK.net. You can call us directly. Our office number is 704-366-5776. You can email myself or Ryan. All of our emails are just our first name @poterack.net. So Alec @poterack.net. Follow us on social media. We post on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Follow this podcast if you haven't already. We're very easy to get a hold of if you'd like to.
All right, listeners, you heard it here. Social Security is not the be-all and end-all of retirement. And because life isn't lived on a spreadsheet, you need to understand what it can do and then plan for your situation. Following this podcast can help, and so can sharing it with others. I'm Patrice Sikora, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you for listening to Life Isn't Lived on a Spreadsheet. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. To ask questions about topics covered during the show or get a copy of Making It Count, Life Isn't Lived on a Spreadsheet by Ryan Poterack, visit www.poterack.net or give us a call at 704-366-5776. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Poterack Capital Advisory. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Poterack Capital Advisory does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstances. Nothing contained herein is to be considered a solicitation, research material, an investment recommendation, or advice of any kind. The information contained herein may contain information that is subject to change without notice. Any investments or strategies referenced herein do not take into account the investment objectives, financial situation, or particular needs of any specific person.
Product sustainability must be independently determined for each individual investor. Poterack Capital Advisory explicitly disclaims any responsibility for product suitability or suitability determinations related to individual investors.